Welcome everybody here to the Hardline Rebels Truck Series here on Rebel Racing Network. Tonight we're at Homestead, Miami Speedway in Homestead, Florida for a mile-and-a-half action, low line, top line, middle line, whatever line you want to run, we're going to run it tonight here in the Craftsman Truck Series. You see it on the screen, 1.5 mile track, progressive banking, one of the best tracks I think for the truck series tonight. We're going to tackle it with all 30 plus drivers that we got here tonight. Looks like we're going to end up with probably around 34, 35, 36 drivers on the track. We're going to need to use every bit of the space tonight. But man, it's going to be a great show so far. Your two winners, Sean Cool and Daniel Pope II. So far, your two winners. We're going to have a new one tonight. Glad to have y'all. I'm Eddie Smith. Glad to be back after a week off, thanks to the Super Bowl. We've had the Super Bowl of NASCAR today with the Daytona 500, so we're ready to continue that trend of some really awesome racing. And qualifying currently underway, but it looks like weather looking pretty good. 80 degrees in Florida. That's chilly in Florida, I'd say. But yeah, ready to get this thing going. I think it's going to be an exciting race. And ready to get back to racing. Definitely missed this series. Looks like we're not gonna have to send anybody home tonight, so that's always a good thing. Hate to have to send folks home like we did the first week, but as we pull up, we'll see kind of where everybody's at so far. At Jonah Colbert, this is unofficial as we still have cars on the track, but right now Jonah Colbert has the provisional pole with a 33.18. with Andy Kurtz and Chris McLean right behind them. So just a little bit left, and then we'll see where everybody stacks up. Want to thank all our sponsors, of course, Hardline Transport Solutions, Mike Bertosa. Man, definitely appreciate them for help putting this thing on. Matt Clemens for kind of being the head honcho and putting it all together, and all of our other sponsors. But we'll get through them. But right now, we got to get through the grid right now, and that's the Jeff By Jr. Art starting grid. But we'll start with the Chuck Pegleg Pole Award. That's with Jonah Colbert. So congratulations, he does take the pole. As we get the starting grid up here, we'll go through it quick. Jonah Colbert, Andy Kurtz, Chris McLean, Jonathan Cofield, Daniel Pope II, Tracy Passes, Aaron Adcock, Stephen McDonald, Corey Bigley, Elliott Carlson, Josh Oswald, Spencer Gay, Dylan Bates, Mike Kostick, Mickey Isaac, Chuck Phelps, Kieran Church, Sean Cool, Charlie Elmore, Brandon Pollock, Brandon Wallace, Eric Tracy, Kyle Roberts, David Jones, Tyler Rice, Matt Clemens, Charles Stevens Jr., Matt Knights, Mike Veet, Butch Taylor, Alex Veet, Cameron Hamilton, Todd Schotten, and Gary Wright. That is your grid today as we get this thing rolling. And, I had to get through that real quick because, hey, you know what? We got a little track guide here. So let's see what it takes to get around this track.
Hey, what's going on, guys? This is Jonah Colbert here, driver number 31 Ford F-150. I'm going to give you a real quick track guide how to get around Homestead, Miami Speedway. It's a 1.5 mile track with 2 straightaways, no tri-oval at this one, and a real fast track. Very little off-throttle time, makes for a great race, has multi-grooves. To get started, we're going to go down into turn 1. We're going to lift and just apply a little bit of brake before we ease back into the throttle. Try to hug that bottom line off the corner. Truck likes to get real loose coming up off the corner, so we got to be careful with the throttle, ease into it. Don't want to smash down on it. Turn 3 and 4, a lot of the same thing. You can really get down there and ride that bottom line. It gets a little bumpy. Turn 4 is real hairy. It gets really slick right here. There's no grip off of turn 4, so you see a lot of guys probably getting sideways there. The other alternate lines, you can get up right next to the wall and use the air bubble. The air pushing off the wall will help the truck turn. You can get a great run off the corner, and it's actually faster when they run that bottom. That covers it. So it's been a quick track guide for you.
And we're back. Sorry about that. Barely made it through the start-finish line without an issue. Had my mic muted and everything, trying to get everything in last minute. But looks like Tyler Rice has gone around. Let's see what happened on the Kinder Farmer Ranch Wreckage Rewind. It's like on the start, maybe just some issues getting woed up. Charles Stevens going to get into the back of Tyler Rice, and he goes around. Just a little accordion effect there. We'll go back and watch it one more time. You'll see right in front of him. Everybody kind of checks up as the green flag happens, and Charles Stevens Jr. just a little antsy gets in the back of Tyler Rice. So Tyler, a little tore up, going to get some damage fixed maybe, and try to get back into this thing because he's going to lose a lot of spots going all the way to the back. Yeah, sorry about that. Trying to do some different stuff. Mistimed that completely, so. But thanks, Jonah Colbert, for doing sort of a track guide for us. We'll get a little bit better. I swear, it'll take 3 years for him to do a pace lap, and then when I try to show a video, it takes him about 30 seconds to get around the track. But so far, not even one green flag lap under caution. Tyler Rice brings out the first caution. Just a little bit of antsiness, I guess. You know, if you're towards the back, the green flag comes out, and it's kind of like when you sit at the stoplight or red light, and you're about, I don't know, 10, 15 cars deep. You see the light turn green, you go, okay, we're ready to go. But it takes a good 10 seconds before you actually get to go. It's kind of like that here. The front rows get to go first, and it takes a while for you can actually kind of take off if you're towards the back. So that's kind of what you saw there, just a little accordion action. Ends up with the first accident of the night. We'll actually check and see if that 88 is on pit road. See, he's got a lot of front end damage. So Charles Stevens getting some of that damage fixed. Don't want to use that fast repair if you don't have to too early. We'll just see if that has, you know, a whole lot of effect on the truck. You're going to need a lot of aero here tonight, and damage on these trucks is just so rough that you don't want to get any damage. It'll make it very, very difficult to drive. Sometimes you really can't tell until you try to get into a pack and drive, and that joker will not turn. So Charles able to get out in front of the field, stay on the lead lap, getting as much damage fixed as he can. Jonah with the lead, with Andy Kurtz right behind him. As you see, Charles Stevens coming out of the pits. Well, so far, I mean, with these large fields, the racing has been pretty incredible already. I expect it to really continue. It started out on a high note. We actually had 46 drivers at the first race, and, man, it was just a lot of fun. Really great race. Dang near had a 2 stops, I think, 1 or 2 stops under green at the end to finish that thing off. And Sean Cool able to take the win. I think it was at Vegas or Chicagoland. You know what? Let's pull up the schedule. Let's talk. Let's see what we got going on. Chicagoland was the first race. And then Daniel Pope able to get the win at Iowa. So got 100 laps here tonight at Homestead. And while we got a little bit of time as the lights are out on the pace truck, we'll kind of talk about the race analysis a little bit. I got 100 laps, 80% fuel, so you have to pay attention to the fuel a little bit. Probably still going to be just 1 stop, but looking the guys to get to about lap 50 before they come in if everything stays green from here on out. 2 green, white checkered, so we'll get 2 chances to finish this thing under green. And, of course, you have 1 fast repair, which we see a couple of guys trying not to use early. You see Charles Stevens actually, looks like maybe he wasn't able to get out of the pits in time, and he's actually going to lose a lap. So tough deal there for Charles as he apparently doesn't get out of pit road in time, and that puts him in a bad spot. But Jonah Colbert going to have the lead here. Andy Kurtz on the outside, Jonathan Cofield starting in 3rd right behind him. See if we can't get a couple laps in under green. Everybody probably got the word from race control to take it easy on the start. Jonah Colbert with control of the start. He gets a good jump here in the Barabbas Ford F-150. And gets a good launch with Andy Kurtz and Jonathan Cofield and the rest of the field getting off to a really, really, really good start. And you can already see the different lines all over the place as they come roaring down the backstretch. You see guys up on the top side, guys down in the bottom, in the middle. I mean, they're just spread out all over the place. Bottom is where you're going to want to be early at least. You can make some passes on the top side, so if you are faster, it's a good way to set up a pass. You see some people trying to take advantage of that right now. But bottom is, if you're going to win the race, you're going to have to run the bottom early and probably often. I think running the top usually gets people a little excited, and they see how that top works and gets a big run off the corner, and you can make some passes. The problem is it will wear the tires out. So you got to be careful with that. And so far, so good. A couple laps. We got a little 3 wide situation here. Back a little bit further. Corey Bigley, Brandon Wallace, and Kyle Roberts. 3 wide. Kyle Roberts is going to be the victor in that as he gets the run off the top side. So far, so good as he's racing everywhere. As you can see, everybody's sort of starting to get spread out just a little bit. As we watch Kyle Roberts continue to use that top line. And we'll keep an eye on him, but you definitely want to watch that top line as the run goes on. You have to just be sparing about how you use it. To go up front, Chris McLean, he is definitely not scared of the high line as he's really trying to make that work early. As Jonah and Cofield starting to pull away from the field just a little bit, as McLean going to look down to the inside, being aggressive early. Maybe try to do a little slide job on the 05 and get himself up into the 3rd position. He is able to do that. Already, Chris McLean back up in the 3rd. Cofield has made up a couple spots where he started. Andy Kurtz has been the one that's dropped. So I don't know if Andy is taking his time or what, but he's currently getting passed again by Daniel Pope. And it looks like Tracy Passon's looking to follow along. There's a little bit of draft here. What I like about Homestead is you are off the throttle just a little bit. You really can't be wide open for very long. There's a slight lift you have to do in the entry of the corners. That really separates the pack versus like a Vegas or a track that you can pretty much hold it wide open. Is Kieran Church. What an amazing save is Kieran Church completely sideways off the corner, and it was able to save it in that 22 machine. So Kieran Church showing his driving ability, able to get that thing back going, but he is losing a ton of spots because of that, and I'm sure his tires aren't too happy about it. Well, let's see who we got on the cams tonight. We got a bunch of people. Man, I can't even see them on my little preview down here, but we got a ton of people. We got Mike B, Jonah Colbert, Chuck Phelps. We got Kyle Roberts, Charles Stevens Jr., Charlie Elmore, Matt Clement, Aaron Adcock, Spencer Gay, Tyler Rice, Brandon Wallace, Chris McLean, and Mickey Isaac. Appreciate those guys showing up, giving us something to talk about. And kind of showing their setup, showing what they got, showing a little personality, man. I love to see that. Definitely, I think it helps. Find somebody to root for when you got a face to go with a name. We go back up front. We see Tracy Passons going underneath Daniel Pope. Right behind them, Dylan Bates, who is on the move early, starting to creep into the picture, but we are definitely fanned out all over the track. Some 8 seconds separates first, or 9 seconds actually, first through 31st. Pull up the track map real quick, see where everybody's at. See, everybody kind of spread out, so didn't take long. As we watch this battle between Popeman Motorsports teammates, Chris McLean and Tracy Passons, with Pope looking on. Oh, Chris McLean is going to get loose, and here he goes. And another amazing save. What in the world is going on? Chris McLean with a fantastic save, as I thought he was gone. I don't know how in the world he saved that. Good grief, let's go back and watch that again. If we can, watch it from his cockpit if we can catch it in time. And you see right in front of him, he is already loose, and actually his teammate kind of gets a hold of him, as looks like Chris McLean gets a little bit of that apron as we watch on board here. Yeah, you see he gets that apron and basically not able to slow up in time, but just an amazing job of getting that thing back going. A couple really amazing saves already here in the Rebels Truck Series. A little bit of damage there on the 5 machine, but shouldn't be too much. Go check back here. We got all kinds of battling going on. We got Chuck Feltz. We got Kyle Roberts. Kyle Roberts on the move, man. I'll tell you what, there's somebody right there that has been really, really improving. And when you give him a top line, he can make it work. He used to be sort of a super speedway kind of ringer, but Kyle Roberts has really improved in pretty much every vehicle. You see him making all kinds of moves, qualifying better. Didn't qualify too well today, as you see him go 3 wide here, as the 43 of Brandon Pollock gets a little bit too high off the corner. That 3 wide here. We'll see if they can make that work, and they do. Brandon has to back off just a little bit, as Corey Bigley is now looking on to Chuck Feltz. But yeah, I mean, Kyle Roberts has really improved. He does a lot of racing. He practices a lot, and he definitely puts in the work. So not a surprise there. Check in on Tyler Rice as he tries to make his way back up through the field after that first lap incident. He's currently looking to the inside of Alex Veith, sorry. And we actually got both those guys on camera, so we'll watch them as they battle side by side. Oh, I put, and yellow flag is out. It looks like Chris McLean is the one that has gone around. So we can go back and see what happened here. Chris McLean with Sean Cool behind him. And Sean Cool gets into the back of the 5 machine, and he goes around, and oh my goodness, the 67, well, I can't really tell who that is, of Eric Tracy, just clobbers him. So go back one more time, see if we can. Yeah, Sean Cool just all over the back bumper. I don't know if Sean expected Chris to run the wall there. I haven't seen Chris run that wall exactly. I'm not real sure exactly what happened there, but just a racing incident, and I don't think Sean did that on purpose. I can't imagine you'd want to get some damage to your truck, but fortunately for Chris McLean, that is going to be big damage to him. As we do have people coming down pit road, Chris McLean does get the fast repair and able to get out, but man, we got pit road is wide open. Jonah Colbert with a really nice lead to begin with. Dylan Bateso on the move has moved up to 3rd place as everybody takes 4 tires and fuel. Going to need those tires if you're going to make any move. You can't afford to stay out. Not right now, not after 20 laps. This track's pretty abrasive, so you want to take care of them. I'll tell you what, because we did all this work, and Jonah did such a good job, I'm going to give you that track guide one more time. That way we can see what people are dealing with on this track, and we can watch it from the beginning to the end.
Hey, what's going on, guys? This is Jonah Colbert here, driver number 31 Ford F-150. I'm going to give you a real quick track guide how to get around Homestead, Miami Speedway. It's a 1.5 mile track with 2 straightaways, no tri-oval at this one, and a real fast track. very little off throttle time, makes for a great race, has multi-grooves. Get started, we're going to go down into turn 1, we're going to lift and just apply a little bit of brake before we ease back into the throttle. Try to hug that bottom line off the corner. Truck likes to get real loose coming up off the corner, so we got to be careful with the throttle, ease into it. Don't want to smash down on it. Turn 3 and 4, a lot of the same thing. You can really get down there and ride that bottom line. It gets a little bumpy. Turn 4 is real hairy. It gets really slick right here. There's no grip off of turn 4, so you see a lot of guys probably getting sideways there. The other alternate lines, you can get up right next to the wall and use the air bubble. The air pushing off the wall will help the truck turn. And you can get a great run off the corner, and it's actually faster. Coming off the corner, get a good run down the straightaway. Will produce some really good side-by-side racing. Burns the tires up real quick. This track's really abrasive. So the one benefit you're going to see is the guys that run up high may be fast early, but they're going to burn their tires up. Whereas the guys down low may be slow early, but they're going to end up saving a lot more tire when they run that bottom groove. That about covers it. So it's been a quick track guide for you. Hope y'all enjoy the race.
All right, again, thanks to Jonah Colbert for that. Had to cut it off a little bit early as as the green flag came up on me quick, but I wanted to get the full thing in because he did such a good job. So appreciate Jonah doing that. And he is showing exactly what he's saying. Running the top side has already gotten guys in trouble. You don't see guys running the top up at the front, and he is demonstrating that perfectly as he is in the lead, been running the bottom, and is really gapped the field early. Him and Cofield sort of set themselves apart. But let's see, after a set of tires, some guys on the move, Dylan Bates, Jonah Colbert, Daniel Pope, all improved upon their starting position. Can they have they learned anything? Can they improve on it? You know, guys like Dylan Bates, who maybe had to use a lot of their stuff to get up towards the front, now they get a reset and they can kind of take it easy. So we'll see what they're able to do as Jonah comes to take the green flag with about 78 laps to go. Take the green. Probably gonna need to pit one more time. We'll see. Green flag is out as they go screaming down the front straightaway. All 30 some odd trucks, 34 at this point, as they go down in turn 1. Everything, oh, Sean Cool a little bit loose. You see him there on the inside, able to get it wrapped back up as those cold tires really putting a hurt on some guys. But Sean Cool able to get it back rolling. Currently in the 13th spot, he's on the move. Another driver that's on the move is Kieran Church. He has moved up 9 spots from where he started as he looks on to this battle between Tracy Passons and the 09. I have no idea who the 09 is. Oh, the 09's a lap down. That's the Elliott Carlson in that 09 machine. I tell you what, that's a good-looking scheme. That's going to be your Jeff By Junior Art best paint of the night right there. I like it. So congratulations to Elliott Carlson. I'm sure he'd rather be up in the lead lap, but definitely having some sort of issues here in that 09 machine. Going up front, we got the battle here. The top 4 starting to pull away just a tad bit. Jonah leading that train. Daniel Pope sitting in 4th right behind him. Go on board with Daniel Pope, see what he's got going on. See, they're kind of following each other's lines here. As you kind of see how difficult it is to get down in the turns, crazy enough. Actually a little bit tight into turn 1. You have to really get off the gas and then get back on the gas as soon as possible without getting up out of the groove and getting too loose. The tricky part with turn 3 and 4, it's the oddest corner. It's really hard to describe just by talking, but the corner it goes down like a normal corner, and then all of a sudden it sort of cuts a little bit more to the left. and I'll highlight that in just a second as we see Daniel Pope sort of running in that middle groove above that seam, trying to keep that right rear on that progressive banking. But as we go down to the corner with Jonah Colbert, you'll see him roll down to the bottom, driving it pretty deep. And then you'll see right here is really where you start to pick up the gas, and he is doing the right thing, which is come off the bottom. It really, really cuts the track and allows you to save a lot of time. So, but these top four looking really, really good as they are out to about 1.7 second lead over Tracy Passons, who's in fifth. So what I would imagine is going on up here, Jonah is leading the way. Dylan Bates, Daniel Pope, Jonathan Cofield just riding behind them. It's just time to ride right now. You don't need to really push it too hard. Dirty area is a tough deal to deal with, so you're really just trying to feel out the car, not let these guys get away, save a little bit of that right front. That right front going to be super important as the run goes on. And you see, there's no doubt about it, the bottom line is the better line when you're running by yourself and not side by side. Running that bottom line will save the tire. It's just something about this particular tire model that iRacing has that if you get up on the high side and you try to run it too often, it really heats the right front up and makes the truck get really, really tight to the point where you can't even run the bottom anymore. You've already committed. So it's really used more for passing. So when we see guys late in the run, especially for the win, you'll see the top side being utilized to make a pass, as passing someone on the bottom will prove to be pretty difficult. So the top four really showing the way as we are crossing over into lap 30. Let's go back here, and we got a jumble of cars back here with Sean Cool, Josh Oswald, Steve McDonald. You see Elliott Carlson in that 09 machine. He's a lap down. Spencer Gay, Corey Bigley, and Kieran Church. These guys are battling for this top 10 position. In this series, I can tell you, top 10 is bragging rights. As I can, man, just so much competition. I mean, the top 10 are all race winners. Guys who can go up there and win a race. Jonah Colbert, Jonathan Cofield, Dylan Bates, Daniel Pope, Tracy Paz, Andy Kurtz, Aaron Adcock, Mike Kostick, Sean Cool, and Josh Oswald. That's your top 10. I mean, I would say Josh Oswald could win anywhere. And he is running 10th right now. So just, indicates how difficult this series is and how much talent there is. And, somebody like Josh Oswald is currently running, 5 seconds back from the lead. So these top 10s, top 15s, man, they are huge as far as points go, and I think bragging rights too. So I think there's a lot of good battling that's going to be happening all over the track, as all these positions are going to be really, really important. Go back here, Kyle Roberts, Kieran Church, having a lot of fun. Kyle Roberts still on the move as he is up 7 spots from where he started. He ain't playing around. He was running the top the last time we watched. Let's go and see if he is still doing that, or if he has moved back down to the bottom. Looks like the bottom is where he wants to run. Kieran is sort of running that middle line. But one thing I want to notice, not that I want to pick on Kieran Church, but I just saw him do this. One thing to be watching out for, especially if you are running that bottom line, he kind of runs the top side here. But if you run that bottom line, what you don't want to do is sweep off the corner. You want to come off low here at Homestead. That is the ticket. And if you kind of sweep up off the corner, the natural, going out to the wall off the corner, you'll see that'd be really detrimental to your tires as well. So this track is very, very particular and technical when it comes to saving tires. It's very, very important that you run the line properly, as it can cause issues really, really quick. And once those tires start to go, especially at night on a cooler track, you don't get them back. It's just not going to happen. Got a battle here for second, though, as we go watch Daniel Pope go to the inside of Jonathan Cofield. And Cofield kind of tries to lean on that right rear a little bit and actually loses him some time. And now he's going to have to battle off Dylan Bates, and looks like he just does the smart thing, I think, and just lets him go. You fight too hard here, you'll pull in Tracy Passons, who is really running down these four, and you'll let the front two sort of get away. Really, really smart racing. It's really tough to let somebody go, especially if you think maybe you're faster. However, sometimes you save the battles to the end. We'll take a look at the last lap times. Jonah Colbert, Daniel Pope sort of running pretty even times. 34.1s, low 34.1s. And you got Dylan Bates, Cofield, both were passing each other. And you see Tracy Passons, 34.1 as well. So got some guys starting to make some moves here on older tires. We go back here. We got a battle between Aaron Adcock and that red and black 23 machine and the number 8 Jack Daniels Chevrolet. And we'll kind of see how, now that we've got some time on these tires, how will the top side, as Michael Kostick does a little slide job there. And so Aaron Adcock going to look back down to the inside, but I think right now with the way the tires are, I think that top side is just a little bit better when you're racing side by side. I know it sounds contradictory, but when you're alone, you want to run the bottom. But when you're trying to pass somebody or trying to make a pass, you really want to make sure that you're on the top side on these long runs, as the bottom is just not able to use enough track to make that move happen. As you saw Michael Kostick use that slide job to make that pass. Not quite able to get clear fully as Aaron was able to get a run on him. Aaron not going to let him go, though. But you just see Aaron not able to really make any headway. And the 8 actually gets a little bit loose there, so he does. Aaron got a nose ahead going into that corner. Kostick this time way up the track, going to try to get a massive run off the turn. As they go down the backstretch, you see the speed difference, but just not quite able to make that pass happen just yet. As, man, they are side by side. Love it. Side by side racing here in the Hardline Rebels Truck Series. And looks like Kostick may be able to clear him. Not quite. Have to be a little bit patient. Aaron not ready to give that position up. I mean, it's a battle for 6th place. Aaron gets a great drop through the middle there. So Kostick still not able to make this pass. Kostick was a little bit better at 3 and 4 last time. Let's see if he can make that happen again. No, it looks like Aaron has a really strong middle of the corner. Man, they're still going. This is great racing. I'm sure I'm missing something up front, but I can't turn away. Aaron gets a great drop through the middle. Maybe able to slide up in front of Kostick. Not quite able to. Kostick with that run is going to pull even down the back straightaway. And Aaron going to fight back and get that position back from the 8. The 8 going to get a run here. Is he going to try to look back down the inside? He's not done just yet. He says, wow, that bottom really worked for you. So let me try it. Mike Kostick goes down to the inside. And now they swap positions, so now Aaron's going to have to defend on the top side as he really squeezes down on that 8 machine. How tough are they being on these tires running side by side? It's actually really impressive. They're running lap times similar to the leaders. But Aaron able to take that spot back. Man, what a great battle there between the 23 and the 8. Man, that is fun. I tell you, I'm not a huge fan of the trucks at most places, but Homestead is one of those tracks that really complements the truck. Just because of the fact you really have to let off the gas, there is some throttle work that's involved. That makes the racing just so much fun. Kostick not able to make that pass. Going to have to be regulated back to running in those tire tracks. Aaron making that 23 truck real wide. Go back up front. Got a little movement here as Jonah Colbert still has the lead, yet Daniel Pope has sort of wheeled him in and is running right on his back bumper. Jonathan Cofield, Dylan Bates just trying to hold on. They are running very, very similar lap times. Kind of watch on board with Daniel Pope. See him running sort of a different line than Jonah. Jonah sort of running that bottom, putting the dirty air down right at the bottom, and so Pope trying to get a little bit of that downforce on the front end the best he can. That's tough right there, what just happened. When somebody crosses, you kind of see Daniel Pope really getting tight, actually having to really put a lot of wheel into it. He enters in lower than Jonah. Jonah cuts across his nose, and the arrow is so strong there that you saw how it really tightened up Pope. As Pope gets down in the corner, he's got the downforce on the front of the car, getting back on the gas. It's all there. Jonah cuts across his bumper. That weight goes right over the front splitter, and you saw the front end sort of sail up towards the wall as Jonah crosses in front of him. So something to be aware of, and you see Pope trying to sort of alleviate that. Oh, he's still getting really tight. He has to check up. It's only going to get worse if he keeps doing that, but trying to keep that nose out in clean air, that's really, really important. Let's go on board with him and watch the steering wheel, and we'll see how much input he's having to put in. He's been really good off of turn 1 and 2. Let's see in 3 and 4. He's actually working the wheel quite a bit. So he's still entering lower than Jonah. Actually, it's just a little bit loose. I love it. Love to see that. And I'm in definitely no position to tell Daniel Pope how to drive a race car. But I would think in 3 and 4, if he waited just a little bit more on the throttle. Homestead is so weird. I wonder if it would help. He's obviously running up here, about to try to take over this lead. But you see him get on the throttle. He actually waits a little bit longer this time. It's actually perfect. So he knows what he's doing. He don't need me to tell him anything. He comes off the corner. Still loose, though. Very, very interesting to see him get really loose. That right rear screaming. It looks like Kyle Roberts has had some sort of issue. He's off the track. Let's go check the Kinder Farm and Ranch Wreckage Rewind, and we'll see what happened to Kyle Roberts. He was slow, trying to get on pit road, trying to make a pit stop, I guess. Oh, comes a complete stop, and I don't know what happened. Let's see if we can go back a little bit further and find out. Well, I don't know. Looks like he might have had a code brown. I don't know. Those happen from time to time. But Kyle Roberts, I checked his in-race camera, and he is out of the seat. So, we've all been there. When nature calls, you got to answer. Go check out battle for 4th place. Tracy Patz is on the move. After saving a little bit of tire, Dylan Bates starting to fall back just a little bit. We'll see how much difference they are, how much Tracy has been able to save. Dylan working that top side. Tracy with a very clear advantage there, able to take over that 4th position and move himself up a little bit further in the top 5. Tracy's sneaky fast. He always seems to find his way towards the front. Always qualifies pretty well. He qualified 6th, running 4th. Here on this long run, he is showing a lot of speed. at the end of this run. And actually, Tracy's about the second fastest car or truck on the track. Only person faster as I look down the list is Jonah Colbert. Battle for 12th position here. Chuck Feltz going around Josh Oswald. Josh starting to fall back a little bit. We saw him in the top 10 a little bit earlier as this run goes on. Tires on that 17 machine starting to fade. As he has dropped back to the 13th spot. I tell you what, let's talk about somebody else though. Tyler Rice. We saw him have that incident early on not even on lap 1. He was on lap 0 when he wrecked after getting run over from behind coming to the green flag. And he has already moved himself back up into the 18th position, currently looking on the inside of Brandon Wallace. That ought to be an easy pass if I ever seen one myself. So he shot to make quick work of him. But Tyler Rice doing a fantastic job of getting back up through the field, staying with it. Not really sure if I would imagine that how as clean as this truck looks, because he took a pretty big hit. I think he came down and took that fast repair. So does need to be a little bit careful. You can't afford to make another mistake because you only have the one fast repair. But if he can get a caution, I think he's a danger for the top 10 before the end of this thing. Oh, as Brandon Wallace gets a little bit tight there, and Tyler was able to take that spot. And the number 19 of Matt Clemon, who I believe is a lap down or pretty close. Looks like he come down pit road, so he's on fresh tires. He's going to make quick work of these fellas as he just pitted, let's see, on lap 43. So he's about 10 laps, about 13 laps on his tires. He's trying to do a little short pit, jump over some folks. Kyle Roberts back in his truck, back down pit road. So I'm not really sure what's going on with Kyle. But he's pulling her down pit road. He's getting 4 tires and fuel. That's what I'm talking about. Go back up here. Talked about Tracy sort of headed out towards the maybe going to try to run down the top 3, but here comes Dylan Bates right back at him, and Aaron Adcock, Michael Kostick have run these guys down as well. So we saw Aaron and Michael battling not too long ago, and now they've run down these guys. So I don't know if Tracy got into the wall or what may have happened while we weren't watching, but he definitely looks like he's falling off the pace as he was. I mean, the leaders last ran a 35.1. Tracy ran a 35.5. He was one of the slowest trucks on the track, so he must have gotten loose, and looks like he is entering in pit road now. So Tracy Parsons coming in for a pit stop, and woo! Steve McDonald coming in hot. So guys obviously looking to make their final pit stops. Go check up front, see Jonah Colbert. Giving up the lead to come down pit road, so leaders are pitting. Jonah Colbert, Dylan Bates, Sean Cool, Andy Kurtz, Josh Oswald. Jonah gets on pit road really, really well. And getting on pit road first is the most important thing here. If a caution comes out, that does really hurt you. But being able to get back on track, especially when you're the leader, get in the pit road as soon as possible, get out on fresh tires, get that advantage. It's going to be a big deal if he can get on and off pit road without any issues. As here comes Daniel Pope, gives up the lead as well, comes down pit road. So everybody coming in to make their stops as Chuck Felt's going to stay out and lead a lap as he assumes the lead. But expect to see him come in pretty quickly. As we watch him get down on pit road, you can definitely tell he is pitting. Shifting her down, trying to get down to pit road speed. And he is able to do it. So Chuck gives up the lead, going to come down pit road, get 4 tires and fuel, and get back out there and try to continue his bid up into the top 10. Maybe try to get himself a top 5 out of this deal. He's having a great run. Another one of those guys that is really, really improved. That should cycle Jonah back to the lead, and it does. As, man, Jonah has a massive lead over Daniel Pope, who, because of that 1 lap difference, you can see Daniel Pope is back in 4th position. He was pretty close behind Jonah, and because he stayed out 1 extra lap, unless he had some sort of major issue, I'm really surprised to see that. It makes sense, though, because new tires are worth about almost 2 seconds, maybe a little bit more. So Pope maybe caught off a little. He was right behind Jonah whenever Jonah comes down pit road. Probably the worst position to be in if Jonah doesn't call it out. And so he had to go around one more time. Everybody else able to follow suit. But that puts Daniel Pope back and forth, but he's already looking to make a move here on Tracy Passons down to the inside. We got some lap trucks right in front. That's Eric Tracy in that 67 machine. Going to go down to the bottom. And Daniel Pope, though, able to gas it up and get on around Tracy. Pope's got a lot of ground to make up. Now he sets his sights on his teammate Dylan Bates. As Jonah Colbert, man, what a fantastic pit stop. I'm looking at the pit times. Daniel Pope a little bit slower. A pit stop was right on time with everybody else, but getting on and off pit road, he was about a second slower than everybody around him. So maybe an issue getting on and off pit road. I don't have any incident that says he had an issue, but I don't get to see everything. So he may have had some sort of issue getting on and off pit road. And of course, obviously, the fact that he stayed out 1 extra lap also will make a difference. But he ain't playing around right now. He is 2/10 faster. Good God. He's 3/10 faster than anybody else on the track. So, yeah, you can look at the last lap times here. Daniel Pope runs a 33.4, and Cofield about the only one around him that's even close, and he's a 10th slower. So Pope ain't playing around. He is getting all he can out of these tires. You know, it's possible you burn the tires up trying to run down Jonah. But second, third, who cares? You know, I mean, if you got the speed to run Jonah down, you got to try. If I go up there and I try to run Jonah down and burn my tires up and finish 3rd or 4th because I burnt my tires up, I don't care. But if I can get up there and have a chance to win, that's worth every penny. Jonathan Cofield now going around Tracy Passons. Tracy pitted about a lap or 2 before everybody else, so seems to be a good bit pace difference after 2 or 3 laps. Is Tracy either really saving his tires or just already kind of got some wear on them? We go check this battle. You got the 05 Andy Kurtz, the 23 of Aaron Adcock. The 33, that is Butch Taylor. He is a lap down, but right behind him is Michael Kostick in that 8 machine. So this is all a battle for 6th, 7th, and 8th. Right now, Aaron Adcock has it. We saw Aaron be able to run down his teammate there at the end of that run. Tracy pitted a little bit early, so able to get that spot back, but right now these guys are just battling their guts out. Speaking of battle, got Charlie Elmore trying to run down Alex Veith right in front of him in that 51 machine. Take a look at old Charlie, see what he's doing. Boy, he's got the mouth open. The fly could fly right in there if he ain't careful. As he tries to run down Alex, and he is right there on the back bumper. Whoop. Looks down to the inside to see how hard he fights. Gets on the gas pretty early, see if he can try to get that move on Alex. Not quite able to do it, as Alex is going to have the run off the top side. Have the momentum down the straightaway. Charlie entering in pretty shallow. That's going to be tough to make that corner. You see he actually really struggles through the middle after entering so low. That's the tough part about being on the bottom. You just can't use the whole track when you're on the bottom. That's a detriment to that line. It's so good when you're by yourself, but when you're trying to make a pass, very, very difficult. So he's going to have to get behind Alex. Actually, go out to the top side, try to get a run here. Gets a little nervous there and has to lift a little bit. Loses a little bit of time to Alex. You can definitely tell these guys are super loose. I'm actually surprised by that, to see these guys loose as they are under throttle. You can definitely tell it's really tight right there, but as you get on the throttle, you can see a lot of people's steering wheels sort of counter steer. You see them see that truck really rotating off the corner. That's a good thing. I'd rather be loose and tight. Charlie a little unsure about the throttles. Alex gets loose right in front of him. That's going to give Charlie the run that he may need to make this pass. Let's see if he can do it. Going to take a dive down to the inside. Alex going to try to stay on his door a little bit. Alex moves up the track just a little bit as Charlie might be able to clear. Oh, Charlie gets a little bit loose off the corner. Right in front of the leader, too. Here comes Jonah Colbert in that 31 machine. I'm sure he would like these guys to settle this, as Jonah has. He had a big lead, but Daniel Pope has really cut into that lead. Daniel Pope's down to 1.2 seconds. Jonah goes down to the inside of Alex. Alex going to fight back, trying to stay on the lead lap, but seems to be inevitability is Jonah able to make that pass. Watch as Daniel Pope tries to navigate this traffic. Right in front of him, that is the 21 machine. And that is Gary Wright. It's got to be nerve-wracking as a lead lap car to see so many cars. You're trying to just take your time, not put too much pressure on these guys. But knowing you don't want to let Jonah get too far away, try to put these guys a lap down and see them get loose in front of you. You just never know when one of those trucks is going to let go. It looks like Pope's tires maybe starting to equalize. Jonah did a fantastic job of getting through that lap traffic quickly. Pope not really losing a ton of time, but how much he was gaining, he is sort of equalized at this point. Of course, the dirty air right in front of him, too, doesn't help. Jonah now out to clean air. He's able to have all the downforce he needs. Going back to this battle, man, it seems like we've been talking about him a lot. The running nose to tail. Oh, you know what? We need to talk about this fella. Cameron Hamilton in that number 83 machine. Man, we seem to talk about him every week. Making his way up through the field. Man, he is up 18 spots. He has made up a ton of time. Starting pretty much at the back and just slowly working his way through this field. As he only has 20 laps, definitely not going to make it up to the front, not without a lot of help. He's got a lot of cars in front of him. Definitely could make it in the top 10, as right in front of him, it's just a cluster of drivers. As right in front of him is Chuck Phelps, Josh Oswald, Sean Cool is there. The 68 is Steve McDonald, and Mickey Isaac's a few seconds ahead of him. Oh, my goodness. Yeah, I wonder if Sean Cool is. We know he's fast. I mean, he's got a win already this season. Just wondering if he maybe. I don't know if he took his fast repair or not. I don't get that data. But if he didn't, I wonder if he's regretting that a little bit. These trucks, you cannot really get any damage on them. You damage the right rear, it'll blow the motor. It definitely seems like he's really struggling back here with that. Right side damage and a lot on the right front. You can definitely see it's crinkled there. You kind of see his tires sticking out. So I wonder if he's not wishing, his caution is out. Oh my goodness, somebody's upside down. Who was that? That was Elliott Carlson flipping down the front straightaway. Let's go check that out. He's got Charles Stevens right in front of him. He gets a little bit loose off the corner, and he's going to hit the wall and go barreling down the front stretch, just rolling over and over as we saw those guys trying to avoid it, and that brings out the caution. Good grief. That was a tough hit. Let's go back and watch that again. He's going to get loose right here. You can see him coming off the corner. He's trying to use a little bit of counter steer, but after that, it's too late. And he's going to get hit into the wall and just, I don't even know, physics be darned. He somehow flips this way and just rolls over down the front stretch. Cover your kid's eyes. You can see his undercarriage. That is crazy. I don't even understand how that happened, but he was running in the 32nd place. And that best paint of the night is all tore up. But no doubt, leader's going to come down pit road. This is a critical pit stop. You can't see the pit crews from the spectator view, but those guys, those animated pit crew, that variance, that roll in the dice, you're just praying that the dice roll goes in your favor. You try to get in the pit box the best you can. That affects it a little bit, but then it's just a variance. Does a average, sometimes you can get a 12-second stop, 13-second stop, sometimes a 14, 15. Just really depends on the dice roll. But Jonah Colbert able to win the battle off pit road as everybody else sort of files through here is looks like everybody able to get out without much issue. Well, not what Jonah wanted to see, as I think he was definitely sailing off into the sunset here at Homestead, Miami, Florida. But now it is go for broke time, 15 laps, probably about 13 laps when we go back green. Yeah, there won't be any tire saving. It is just going to be hanging it all out and getting that dub. And the scary part is we've already seen some guys get in some trouble. We saw Kieran Church, we saw Sean Cool get into trouble on cold tires. It's such a difficult thing here on these restarts. You got to get these positions. You don't have that much time. You got to hang it all out there, get all that you can get. Those first couple laps are going to be hairy, so I don't know. You want to be careful. You don't want to let that thing get a little bit loose, lose a ton of time, especially on a restart. You go down to turn one, you get a little bit loose, maybe even save it. But before you get it straightened back up, you'll see you're running 10th. If you're running in the top 5, it can quickly change. So got to give a couple laps for those tires to really heat up and then go at it. But if you're up front, I don't know. I don't know if you're afforded that opportunity, especially if you're racing for the lead like Jonah, Daniel Pope. I don't know if you have the liberty of, let me just give this thing a lap to get settled. But so far, it's been a really amazing race. I hate to see it end, or that green flag run there ended, as I think the finish would have been pretty exciting regardless, but now we turn up the intensity for sure. As your wave rounds go around the pace car. And lights are off on the pace truck. We're getting lined up, double file restart for the restart with, we'll have 13 laps to go once we take the green flag. Who is going to take the win already? Sean Cool, one of our winners, currently running in 19th position as a waiver round. He is pretty much out of this thing. Daniel Pope, last week's winner at Iowa, running outside the front row. Jonah has yet to have a win on the season. Who is going to get the win? Is Cofield, is Bates? Are they going to come from the second row to get this thing done? What's going to happen? Who's going to make the mistake? Jonah will have control of the restart. He should get a nice jump here. And he does. Dylan Bates tries to jump the restart a little bit early. Has to check up a little bit. That gives Jonah and maybe Dylan. No. Dylan able to get down to the bottom. Andy Kurt's going to jump down to the bottom in front of Tracy Passons. And now Daniel Pope, I don't know what happened there, but he is 3 wide coming off the corner. He's going to lose second place. I wonder if he did get loose because Dylan Bates just drove by him, and now he's on the outside, 3 wide of Andy Kurtz. He's going to drive it deep down in the corner, though, keep the RPMs wound up. He's going to be able to clear that 3 wide as he now sets his sights on Dylan Bates, as Andy Kurtz is still there trying to put pressure on the 16 machine as they go down into the corner. Ooh, I thought maybe Andy was going to get that left rear just a little bit, but he's able to get it woed up. Trying to make that pass on the inside. Daniel Pope not quite able to clear him just yet, and he does. So Daniel Pope able to take back the 3rd spot. Right behind him, Poban Motorsports lined up the 53 and the 23 underneath the 58. Cofield trying to get back to that right rear corner off the corner, and he does. So able to keep that high line. I think that's going to be important if you're going to make any moves. Jonah Colbert runs the fastest lap of the race out front, as he is already a half a second out on Daniel Pope. Daniel Pope really going to have to dig if he's going to chase down this 31 machine. He's got 11 laps to do it. You see the gap already as the 31 is boot scooting. We go back to this battle. Oh, you see the 23 inside of the 58 back there. Oh, the 23 gets a little bit loose. He's sideways here. He saves it, though. He's going to lose a ton of spots. Here comes Josh Oswald. Steve McDonald talked about it on those cold tires. Got to be careful, and he's going to lose a ton of spots all the way back down to the 13th position. As they go back up front, though, Daniel Pope runs the fastest lap of the race this time by just a few thousandths of a second faster. So the 16 is a little bit faster right now. He's starting to sniff the draft of the 31 as they get down to 10 laps to go. This is going to be a wild finish, I think. We'll keep an eye on that as we watch Andy Kurtz, Tracy Passon still battling here as Aaron Adcock gets loose there. That opens up the track just a little bit for these guys to fight it out. Daniel Pope, another couple tenths faster than Jonah that time, as they come screaming off of turn 2. I think this is a two-truck race at this point. Barring we don't have any cautions, Daniel is definitely a good bit faster. What do you do if you're Jonah? Pope is going to he's going to sail it up the track a little bit. We'll see as they cross the line what the times are. You can see Pope just a tad bit faster that time. Not a huge amount, but just a little bit. Pope closes in a little bit further. Jonah has been strong all race long, but Daniel Pope is showing speed when it counts. 6 laps to go here in the Hardline Transport Solutions Rebel Truck Series. Or 7 laps to go, excuse me. That is plenty of time. Now, the tricky thing is, what does Jonah do? I think you really want to run that top side. I don't know if that bottom line is where you want to be, and you're going to see he's going to defend. He's going to run where Daniel Pope is. You want to give him that dirty air. You don't want to give him the front end. You want to make him work for it. As he comes off the corner, he is there right behind Jonah. This is going to be an amazing finish. As you look out the back over the deck lid of Jonah, as you see Daniel running a little bit higher line, that's going to give him a slightly better run off the corner as he does get the toe. You see somebody, I don't know if that was a connection issue or what, but you saw a little bit of smoke back there. Oh, Jonah may have gotten a little bit loose there. Daniel Pope gets a run. Is he going to look just yet? Not quite able to do it. I think if you're Jonah, you got to protect that right rear quarter. He's done so good on the bottom side. I just don't know if he can give the top side to Daniel. If Pope gets on the outside, I think that's going to be tough to defend, because we are getting to a point where the tires are going to start to fade a little bit, especially as hard as they're running. I mean, running fastest laps of the race. They're definitely not saving tires, so that tire degradation will be a lot quicker. Cross the line, 4 laps to go here for the lead. We got racing all over the track, but we've got a battle for the win. Can Daniel Pope get 2 wins in a row, or can Jonah punch his ticket to the playoffs early in the season? Last lap by Daniel Pope with that draft, just a little bit faster, but not enough. Has he used his stuff up? Is he waiting? Is he trying to cool his tires off a little bit? You see him go wide off the corner. That's not what you want to do. Dylan Bates, I said it was a 2-horse race, but Dylan Bates is starting to creep up on Daniel Pope, and that's actually Pope's. That would be the worst thing if Dylan Bates gets to that back bumper, starts to pressure Daniel Pope, puts him more on a defensive track than an offensive track, can make it difficult for him to get this win. But Jonah, showing the poise of a champion. He is a champion here in this series. Showing the poise here as Daniel Pope gets to his back bumper, continues to run his race, and he is starting to pull that gap just a little bit more, almost a tenth faster that last lap. You start to see the 16 start to really push up off the corner, and I think that's the difference here, as the 31 starting to pull away even further now. So you see the gap getting a little bit wider with Dylan Bates right behind him. Going to start putting pressure on that 16 machine. Daniel Pope way up the racetrack off of turn 4. You see the white flag in Barney's hands. White flag, final lap here at Homestead in the Hardline Rebel Truck Series to go down into turn 1. Jonah right down to that white line. That's what he has to do. You see Andy Kurtz, a few drivers up on the top side trying to get their trucks wound up. Daniel Pope, he gave all that he had. Is there anything he can do in this last corner? You see Jonah drive right down to the bottom like he always has. And coming off of turn 4, Daniel does not have anything for that 31 machine. And Jonah Colbert is going to take the win here in Homestead with a dominant performance in that 31 Barabbas Ford F-150. He did the the track guide. And, man, I sure did pick the right guy for that as he put on a clinic here tonight. Short runs, long runs, green flag pit stops, pit stops under caution. No issue for the 31, and he takes the checkered flag and takes the win. Congratulations. What a race. Woo. Well, what a blast that was. Let's pull up your results, and we'll get ready for the Flexible Freight Solutions post-race show. Jonah Colbert, as he gets smashed as he tries to do his donuts. Andy Kurtz, this is qualifying. Jonah Colbert, Daniel Pope, Dylan Bates, your top 3. Andy Kurtz with a 4th place finish. Jonathan Cofield in 5th. Tracy Passons in 6th. 7th with Michael Kostick. 8th, Corey Bigley. 9th, Mickey Isaac. 10th, Josh Oswald. Aaron Adcock in 11th. Steve McDonald, 12th. Chuck Phelps, 13th. Spencer Gay, 14th. Tyler Rice with a recovery after that lap 1 spin. Comes back and gets a top 15. Very impressive run for Tyler Rice. Brandon Wallace finishes in 16th. Cameron Hamilton in 17th. 18th, Alex V. 19th, Sean Cool. 20th, Matt Knights. 21st, Matt Clemens. 22nd, Gary Wright. 23rd, Davey Jones. 24th, Chris McLean. 25th, Charlie Elmore. 26th is Mike V. 27th, Butch Taylor. 28th, Charles Stevens. 29th, Eric Tracy. 30th, Brandon Pollock. 31st, Elliott Carlson. We saw him flipping down the front stretch. 32nd, Kieran Church. 33rd, Kyle Roberts. And 34th, Todd Schott. Well, all right. Well, let's talk to your winner here tonight. If he's ready, he ain't celebrating too hard already, hopefully. And get him in here, and we'll talk to him. Jonah, this is Eddie in the booth. You got me?
Hi, what's up, Eddie?
Well, man, congratulations. I told him on the broadcast, I said I picked Jonah to do the track guide, and I said I think I picked the right guy because you seemed like you knew exactly what you were doing. Even there at the end when you had Daniel Pope breathing down your neck, you seemed pretty poised, able to run the bottom line, and after about 3-4 laps, starting to pull away a little bit. Talk about your race, man. How was it for you? Sort of a dominating race.
It was a fun race. The truck was a little tighter than what I'd normally like here, but it was a little loose off the turn 4, so that really helped. I noticed a lot of people were flipping and sliding up the track, and Cofield hung with me there for a while. I guess he decided he was going to match my pace, and it worked out for him in the first half of the race because we pulled away from everybody, but I didn't pull away from him. He settled in with me, and that worked. And then I think we had that one green flag pit stop. Got on and off pit road really, really good. I was really surprised at how big of a gap I had coming out of pit. And then I had to start saving fuel because I pit a lap early just for the undercut, and I was still a lap to the good, and we thought it was going to go green until that late caution came out and made things interesting. But hey, that's what racing's all about. We got to race Pope there a little bit, and I found out on that long run to just dump dirty air on him. Every time I would see him creeping up on me, I would move up about a half a lane and just, ruin his arrow, and he would get tight, and I would start pulling back away. But other than that, it was a really fun race.
Yeah, I mean, there at the end, that's impressive. I I was wondering if you were going to maybe decide to go up to the top side and just take a more defensive route, but I think it was probably the better call to just do like what you said, try to get the dirty air on him and run what you've been running, not try anything new, especially at the end of the race for the win. Man, an amazing race, pretty flawless. I don't really have too much to talk about that happened to you. Everybody else had a lot going on, but you were out there just chilling. So, man, just congratulations. Great run as always. Who you got to thank? Any sponsor shout outs?
Shout out to Rebels Racing Network for these broadcasts. Always do a great job. Of course, we got Chuck Pegleg-Felds in the Pole Award, Jeff By Jr. Paint, Matt Clemens, No Neck Fast Repairs, JC Motorsports, and a special shout out to Barabbas Homeless Outreach. It's what that's a little thing I do in the spare time. I get out there and we get clothing and stuff out to the homeless, and that's who the sponsor is on my truck that we've been running lately. So, yeah, if you are interested in checking that out, it's facebook.com/Barabbas Outreach. You can check it out there. We don't accept monetary donations, but we do accept clothing donations. So if y'all have anything y'all want to send off, we can get it in the right hands. So that's about it.
All right, man. Well, congratulations on the win. Very, very dominant race. Just a lot of fun. Congratulations.
Oh, and shout out to Dylan Harks. He was riding with me tonight, so
all right,
got the 3 shirt on.
Yes, sir. All right, man. Congratulations.
All right, thanks.
That's your winner, Jonah Colbert, here tonight with a dominant win. Let's bring in second place Daniel Pope, see what he thought about this race. Daniel, the Sadie in the booth, you got me?
I got you.
Well, man, a lot of fun watching your race tonight. You started inside the top 5, and stayed there pretty much the whole race. There at the end there, you're running down Jonas. I felt like maybe at the end of that run, got in some lap traffic, kind of stalled that out. And then on that last pit stop, had to pit a little bit after him. Well, the pit stop before that, you came in a lap after him. But overall, a good race, great second place finish. Kind of tell me about your race. How'd it go?
I had a really good race. I mean, nothing to really complain about. Started 5th, just kind of bide my time, seeing how the tires were going to fall off. Made a run at it, and there was a heavy aero push behind people. And when I caught Jonah on the first run, I picked up a really bad push. Kind of rode there till the first pit stop. I stayed out a lap later for fuel. You had to pit on the lap I did to make it on fuel unless you were going to clutch or try to save fuel. And so I stayed out. That cost me about 2 seconds of track time for the tire difference. And I was, like you said, I was making ground back on him. And I caught the lap traffic, and they raced really hard. And it stalled out my run. And then at the end, I messed up turn 1 on a restart. Dylan had packed a bunch of air on the left rear quarter panel. We went down into 1. I about spun, so I lost all my momentum, lost all my track position, and had to fight back for it.
Well, talk about how tough it is on those restarts, especially with the way the tire model is and the way that the truck was sort of handled tonight, because it definitely seemed like y'all were loose, especially on throttle, and on cold tires just really made that issue a lot worse. Just talk about that a little bit. I mean, how difficult it is to, on a late race restart, knowing you have to go, but you know the tires are going to be cold, but you really have to send it.
It's difficult to start on the outside. Particularly there at the end, because you really need to run the seam or a little lower on cold tires to make sure the car is not, getting away from you. And with Dylan on my left rear there, the way he packed there on the left rear, it made it really, really hard. And the guys would, some of the guys would struggle after 5 or 6 laps, and then they would put fresh tires on, and for about 5 or 6 laps they were heroes. So they would drive really, really hard, and you'd have to mix it up, but then once it all settled back out, it wasn't bad.
Well, you got the win last week. You're in the playoffs, so you're good to go there. Second place here tonight. Jonah was just sort of in a league of his own. It felt like able to get out front, had that clean air that was so important. But first and then second, pretty good couple weeks for you. So congratulations again on second place. Who you got to thank? Any sponsor shout outs?
Just shout out to my guys at SPM and all our different divisions. You guys for the league, and I've had a good start, a second, first, and a second. So Can't really complain. I'm not going to win every race, and we just want to run good.
Well, running good, he definitely is. That's Daniel Pope finishing in second. Congratulations again.
Thank you.
Well, let's talk to our third place finisher, Dylan Bates. Dylan Bates is Eddie in the booth. You got me?
I got.
Well, talking to you again, no surprise there. Really impressed with your run tonight. 10 spots from where you started, ran your way, drove up to the front, and it just seems like the further you got up towards the front, the competition got harder and harder, but still able to come home with a third place finish. Talk about your race, man. How'd it go?
Yeah, man, I just really struggle with the hot lap speed in these bigger tracks, bigger in the what we call the big cars on iRacing. I'm a short track guy, and I just struggle squeezing out those last couple tenths on the bigger tracks in hot lap. But when I get out there racing, it seems like I have no problem matching that speed. So I just got to figure out how to go faster earlier, and it showed during that last restart. I just need to go faster from the drop of the on that last restart and stay there closer to the leader, but I just couldn't quite stay there, and relegated me to third, and it was a good race.
Yeah, when Daniel Pope had his issue, and it kind of opened you up to second place, what did you think when that happened? And then what kind of happened was just the fact that the hot lap speed kind of what held you back from holding him off for that second place finish?
Yeah, I just wasn't quite as fast as he was, and I knew that all night long, and I didn't want to sit there and race him for second, knowing that all those guys behind us were going to get bottled up, and I was probably going to get freight trained. So I figured it'd just be better just to tuck back into third and try to tag onto him and maybe pass for the lead later in the race. But yeah, just couldn't quite keep that speed going, and just figured it'd be better to finish third than not finish. So
Yeah, did you find that the top side, the bottom side, what really worked for you, especially in making passes? I mean, yeah, you were one of the few that was able to make double-digit passes tonight. Top side, bottom side. What was your preferred group when you're trying to pass somebody?
really just wherever they weren't, but definitely if you could get a good run, like you can kind of run like a slide job line off four and get you a good run down the front straight away. And if you could get a nose on them entering one, if you could wrap that white line, you were going to clear them off two. So that was the best way that I could find to make passes, just as long as you could keep a nose in there.
Well, you did it and did a fantastic job at it. Come up a little bit short, finishing third, but I talked about it most of the race here in this series. The top 10 is pretty amazing. So to finish in third, man, you got to be proud of that. So congratulations. And as always, man, who you got to thank? Any sponsor shout outs?
Yeah, man, just all the guys back at 16XCI Racing and Superior Performance Motorsports. And like I say every week, great group of guys to race with, and it's a lot of fun.
All right. Congratulations again, Dylan.
Thanks, man.
Well, there you have it. Man, another fantastic race in the books. Boy, it's a joy to call these races. It's been a lot of fun. And another one in the books as far as some amazing racing. So congratulations to Jonah Colbert again. The whole field did a great job. There were a couple, about 3 cautions, I think, with 35 plus drivers, 3 cautions at a track like Homestead. Very, very impressive. A couple of them were just, kind of flukes. Somebody getting loose and kind of flipping down the front stretch, and then one right as the green flag happened from a little accordion effect. Outside of that, very, very clean race. So just a lot of fun. Really, really enjoyed that one. Congratulations again to Jonah and everybody in chat for being active. It means a lot. It helps. Glad that y'all get in here and make friends in the chat room. That's what I like to see. So. But anyway, want to thank all of our sponsors again. Of course, Hardline Transport Solutions, the main sponsor for this series. Jeff By Jr. for the starting grid and the best paint of the night. Of course, we have to give out our Hard Charger Award winner, and that actually goes to Cameron Hamilton, who was able to pick up 15 spots from where he started. He finished in 17th, started almost at the back, but he is the Dark Horse Motorsports Hard Charger Award winner. So congratulations to him. I want to thank Chuck Pegleg for the pole award. And then we have the Hard Luck Award winner. I think there was a couple guys that I think qualify for this. I think, though, whatever Hard Luck caused Kyle Roberts to have to get out of his kind of pull off the track, get out, that could be some tough luck there because he was running pretty dang good. So he finished in 33rd position because of that. So he's going to be the No Neck Fashion Bears Hard Luck Award winner. So not an award you like to win, not one that I like to give out, but it is what it is. Flexible Freight Solutions post-race show. Want to thank them. David Jones, he has supported this league for a long, long time, and so I want to thank him. And thank everybody else for watching. It's been a lot of fun, and we're going to continue that fun next week as we go to Daytona. I don't know. That's going to be a big one. So we'll see how that all plays out, how the teamwork works. I think we're going to have a lot of fun, though, so come on back. Anyway, thank y'all very much. We'll see y'all next week.